Hi, I've had quite a few people ask me about how to clean their barrel. So let me go ahead and address that. If you're aging liquor in your barrel, whether it be whiskey, bourbon, tequila, doesn't matter. If it's any type of a liquor, anything but wine, you don't really need to clean the barrel other than when you get the barrel, we certainly suggest rinsing it out and of course following the instructions on curing the barrel. But when it comes to cleaning the barrel between batches, you don't really need to if you're putting liquor in the barrel, especially if you're going to put the same liquor in the barrel batch after batch. Now, if you want to put a different kind of liquor into the barrel after you've had something else in here, say for example, if you aged bourbon in here and then you wanted to age some tequila or whiskey, for example, and you wanted to clean the barrel to remove as much of the flavor from the previous liquor out of the barrel before using it in the next batch, here's what I would suggest doing. Now, of course, with most of my barrels, I actually like a little bit of the carryover from the previous batch, and I'll actually, with purpose, take a look to see what I had in the barrel previously and know that it's going to affect the next batch, and it gives me a little something different. But if you wanted to remove as much of that as possible, then what you need to do is, after you've of course poured the liquor out of the barrel and into a jar or something, then what you'll want to do is rinse it out, put hot water in there, shake it up, pour it out. Do that a few times, get as much of the loose liquor out of it. Then pour some hot water into it and let the barrel sit for a couple of days. Then come back, pour it out, fill it up, rinse it out, fill it up, let it sit a couple of days again. And you may need to do that several times. And you'll notice each time when you're pouring the water out, there'll be less and less of the fragrance and flavor from the previous batch. And you're just going to have to keep doing that until the barrel has removed as much of that. Really what has to happen is the water has to soak into the wood and basically water down the previous liquor that had soaked into the wood. So you have to do that several times. Now, another way to speed up the process of pulling the water into the wood and expelling it, pressing it out of the wood, is to move it from warm to cool environments. So when I'm trying to clean out the inside of the barrel and remove as much of the previous liquor as possible, what I'll do is I will fill it up with hot water and let it sit a day in a warm environment. So, and I'm not talking about in an oven or anything, but, something that may be, 90 degrees or something like that. If you live south and it's summertime, put it in your garage or something. But then also, that'd be the first day so that the wood would expand and pull in as much of that water as possible. And then the second day, I would move it to a cooler environment, maybe even the refrigerator. I wouldn't suggest putting it in the freezer, but the refrigerator may not be a bad idea for a day. And that will cause the wood to contract and to press as much of that water out of there as possible. Then when you take it out, pour it out, and redo that cycle several times until you've removed as much of the flavor as possible. Now, to address wine, if you are aging wine in your barrel, what you're going to want to do is get the kit that is on our website for cleaning. And that's really mainly the only time you need to use that kit is when you're cleaning out a barrel that's been used to age wine, because wine can have other problems with bacteria growing and actually ruining the next batch of wine that you put in it. So you'll want to do that between each batch of wine. But other than that, you don't really need to use that cleaning kit when you're aging liquor. Now, sometimes I will take a new barrel and I will soak some sherry or some wine into the wood for maybe a week and then pour it back in the bottle. And I'll do that because I want to age maybe some Scotch bootleg or maybe some Irish whiskey bootleg, and I want to influence that liquor with some wine or sherry. And in that case, since you're pouring liquor into there, you don't need to clean it out because the liquor will kill the bacteria that may be present from the previous sherry or wine. I hope that answers your questions on how to clean your oak barrel. If you've got any more, let me know.